Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to call the regular council meeting for Monday, July 13th to order. We have quorum. Councillor Ward does send his regrets. And at this time, I would like to respectfully acknowledge that we're gathered on the traditional lands of the Lekwungen-speaking people, represented today by the Songhees and Kasepsin nations. We're grateful to work, live, and play in this special place. Item 2, approval of agenda. There's just a few changes to the agenda. We inadvertently dropped a notice of motion from the last meeting. It's going to be added 8.4, which is service review and budget 2027. That is 8.4, and I'm going to remove item 7.3 from the consent, and it will become item 8.5. May I have a mover and seconder to adopt today's agenda as amended? Thank you very much. Councillor Olson and Councillor Day, thank you very much. Discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Okay, I just have one short message for a change, a little different for me. But today, I just want to remind people, today is the last regular council meeting. We now will go on to summer recess, and we will reconvene 24 August, I believe, 24 August. And that's all I have to say. I just wish everyone, I'd like to thank council very much for a great first half part of the season here, and we've accomplished a lot, actually. Oh yeah, and we decided to look really casual today. And, you know, please vote for me, the best Hawaiian shirt. Anyways, I will move on to the adoption of minutes. May I have a mover and seconder for the adoption and receipt of the minutes detailed in the recommendation. Thank you very much, Councillor Grove and Councillor Jordison. And are there any errors or omissions? Councillor Jordison.
Sorry, I should just mention that one set of minutes did mention the approval of the notice of motion.
Yes.
And so it's it was in the minutes too.
Okay, thank you. On that note, no errors, no other errors or omissions. I shall call the question. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. At this point in time, we'll open the floor up to public participation. There were 3 written submissions that were received prior to the agenda publication, and one was a petition, and they're attached to the agenda, and 1 written submission was received after the agenda publication and will be appended to the agenda following tonight's meeting. In addition, they will be available on the city's meeting website tomorrow. Again, I'd like to thank the public for the written submissions. Believe me, we read them all, and and no members of the public have registered to speak virtually. So at this time, I'd like to just invite members to come up and speak. Just so that if you're new to this, there's the rules are you get 2 minutes to speak, and you'll see there's lights on the podium. There's a green light. That means you're allowed to talk. When you see the amber light flash up, that means you have 30 seconds. And the red light is we ask you to wrap it up then, okay? And it just for your information, if you want written answers to your questions on the podium, there's little business cards. So if you just write a quick email to corporate services, which is on that business card, they will respond to you in writing. And just want to remind the public that comments pertaining to the partial exclusion of Colwood Creek Park from the agricultural land reserve are prohibited at this meeting because they've been subject to a public hearing. At this point, we'll move on to item 6, which is delegations, Arts and Culture Colwood Society, and Kathleen Schmalz, the president of the society. Oh, sorry. I'm really getting ahead of myself tonight. I invite people to come on up, and then I say, forget it, don't come up. So come on up, please. Sorry about that. We'll get you next. Public participation.
Hi, I'm Andrew Peeling. I live in Royal Bay. I purchased a plot of land in the beachlands that I have now obtained financing for, and I'm ready to begin building after my close date of next week. So I'm speaking to section 8.3 of the agenda tonight. I'd like to ask that the proposed bylaw amendment for the elimination of the requirement for the builders to obtain a separate permit in addition to the building permit be moved forward and passed now. I understand this amendment will nearly certainly be adopted in September and has already moved through readings, and that this is simply an administrative delay in adoption. Well, it may not seem like a large difference, it is to the homeowners in my position who will begin carrying mortgages and/or loans before September and are forced to decide between delaying the start of their house build and paying significantly more interest on our loans or obtaining a soon-to-be obsolete permit that incurs a large charge. We are ready and have obtained the land. I invested in my future in the beachlands because I believe in the area and in growing a community and planting my roots there for the rest of my life. I'd like to get started without needing to choose which unnecessary financial burden I must take on. I'm sure you've heard it before, but as a young person in Canada trying to achieve a dream of home ownership, every dollar counts, and I'd really love to put my dollars towards the things that are necessary and important. I would really appreciate the council's consideration to move this forward and allow myself and the members of my new community to be able to get started and see the beachlands add value to Colwood quicker than it already has. I've walked the neighborhood many times since the sidewalks opened, and I've seen other folks do the same and enjoy the views and ocean breeze. It'd be really lovely to have a chance to avoid further delays and start to turn the beautiful yet dusty and barren area into a vibrant and lush community a few months sooner than we could if we were have to wait until September. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
Hi there. Thank you, Mayor and Council, for having me. My name is Corey McPherson. I also am building in the beachlands, and I'm just here to talk about the same thing, the forming character development permit that is potentially being put in place for, or the moratorium on it, I should say, coming in place for fall. I'm hoping that we might be able to consider advancing that to a much earlier time frame, as we are also closing next week. And so I would really appreciate the opportunity to be able to, the echo is very, very distracting. But I'd like to be able to also build without having to worry about incurring extra costs and whatnot, having to delay the build until September. So I'd appreciate that consideration as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
Hi, I also wanted to quickly address 8.3 as a future homeowner in the beachlands. Also hoping for that moratorium that others have discussed to be implemented. I think it's the fair thing to do for homeowners and consistent with the direction that council is already taking. And it would help expedite aspects of the build for us and avoid additional and unnecessary delays. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Next, please. Oops, you just pushed the button. No, right on the base of the mic.
Thank you. Good afternoon or good evening, I guess. My name is Bryan Baird. I am a resident of Colwood for the last 6 years. I live in the cul-de-sac of Whitehead Place, so it's a 40-year-old cul-de-sac built in the late 1970s. I'm here with a few of the other members who live in my cul-de-sac. We are very concerned about a very long-term development that has been taking place for about 15 years directly behind us on Goldstream Avenue. It is 460 Goldstream Avenue. My understanding is they're planning on building very large condo complexes directly behind our home. For the last 4 years, there has been active development at all times, dust, noise. Currently, there's a porta potty and a gentleman living on there as well. The excavator only moves about 4 to 5 minutes every single day. At one point, there was many excavators, but nothing has been happening. In my research in all of this, they have gone through several permits and they continue to be expired. They're here today to get their permit renewed. We would like to protest this. We are very unhappy with what has been going on. It is extensive. They have ruined all of our fences that back directly onto the back of where they're building their excavators, have ripped down all of our fences. The noise, my son is 4 years old. He's now in love with excavators. That is his thing. He says goodnight to them every single night because he believes that we live next to excavators and we live in a community that will tolerate this. So I ask for your consideration. The other questions that my neighbors and I would like to know is how long you extend approvals. Is this something that's going to be happening? And how do you plan on communicating with the residents of Whitehead Place going forward about this development and what the future is going to happen? Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Yeah. I have it. I've seen it. Next, please.
So I also live on Whitehead Place, and I would just like to not just know those kind of things, but have consideration for what the residents of Whitehead might expect in return for any potential approvals of this application again after at least 10 years of uncertainty. And I know some of our residents have attempted to sell their home recently and have lost a significant amount of money as a result of that development and its delay. They had a lot of interest for their home, and and no one wanted it as a result, and they have lost $50,000 from the initial asking price for their home. So we would also like to know what we as residents can get back from either the developer or the city of Colwood. If the rest of us would like to sell in the short term or even the long term, since this has been at least 10 years in the making. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
Hello and good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Nicholas Standyman. I'm here tonight on behalf of Abstract Developments and speaking to item 9.2. That's the land use application for 3145 Metchosin Road. I just wanted to thank staff and Mayor and Council for reviewing this item this evening. We were asked to review and accept an amendment to the zoning bylaw, which we were happy to do. Our understanding of the purpose of the amendment was to clarify and confirm the maximum height for that proposed development. And we were able to confirm that we can accommodate the 3-story family-friendly townhomes that we intend to bring forward to development permit, which I understand will also be brought back for Mayor and Council to review at some point in the future. And so we're happy to accept that amendment to the bylaw, and we hope that Mayor and Council will choose to see that move forward this evening. Also, in reviewing the draft work from the Metchosin corridor study, we are happy to see that the dedication we provided to the city of Colwood as part of our rezoning application will accommodate the works that are planned in that right away. So thank you very much for your consideration this evening, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Next, please. And final call for public participation. You see none, I will close the public participation portion of this meeting. Now it's delegations. Yeah, I'll again introduce Kathleen Schmalz, President of Arts and Culture Colwood Society. Kathleen?
Mayor and council staff and staff, I saw some back there, and citizens. I would like to just update you with what's happening at Arts and Culture Colwood, and got a short presentation here. So I'm here with our Vice President, Mike Weiger, there, and we have a new board and up and running. We have a new Literary Arts Director, Rebecca McClure, and we have the former treasurer, Alana McPhail, who's going to be a liaison between members of the society, public, and artists about any questions or concerns that people have. Despite rumors, the open mic is alive and well. There were 29 people at this last open mic at Goldfinch every second and fourth Wednesday. And this is Ali, if you haven't met Ali before, who runs the open mic. And we have an amazing exhibition on right now. You can ask 2 of our council members about it. They were there at the opening with about 160 people yesterday, the taiko drummers and others, by artist Marlene Howell about the Japanese internment in BC. It's a really amazing exhibition. We have a new group, the Creators Group. Everybody's welcome. Second and fourth Tuesday of the month. Bring your projects and get to know some people, friendship based. And we have some collaborations coming up, one with Path. The developers, they are choosing 3 works from the upcoming plein air exhibition that they're going to enlarge and put on a big display billboard at 345 Latoria. And our youth are collaborating with Path at the moment to paint a large mural with artist Isabella Porteous. They just got started today. I think she was starting last week, but pretty exciting for them. And Art Smarts will be continuing in the fall for students age 13 and up. There's room for more. So if you know some students, that'd be great. This year, we were able to have some short-term employees help us with the festival. So this is our festival coordinator, Anthony Mensah, master's graduate from Royal Roads from Ghana. And Akina is Japanese origin and brings her design sense with her, and she's working on publicity with Ali. Festival is coming up September 11th and 12th. It's a free event. We will have bike racks and shuttles, food trucks, performers, afternoon of Friday and all day Saturday, 20 artist tents, beautiful Indigenous showcase. And the Mayor and Council and other dignitaries will be invited to a special preview that I'll tell you about in a second here. So the Bannock Room is one of our food trucks this year. And this year we're going to have an Indigenous showcase preview on the Friday afternoon. And we're hoping to invite dignitaries who need to purchase gifts for other visitors during the year so that we can really support those Indigenous artists. After the Indigenous Showcase preview, we are going to be rocking it out on the field with Latin Vibes, 12-piece music group. We have some local performers returning. I'm not sure Al will be dressed like this, but he's coming back. Steluta, Romani group will be playing. And thanks to Reimagine, who are sponsoring a cider press from Welland Orchard at the festival this year. So I wanted to just mention that our strength is in integrating the arts into experiences. And this is our program coordinator, Sunny Ba. And this is her beautiful piece that she created for our show about Canada. And it's a love song to Canada that we played at the opening of the show. Sky Alexander is another one of the local musicians who will be playing at openings and also at the festival. And we're hoping to collaborate with a group that you may have heard something from, Roots and Rhythm Soul R&B Community Nights for Seniors. Super fun. Classes are planned until the end of August. Now Sunny is starting to work on the classes for the fall. and we are growing and getting better at what we do. Over the next month, check out the activities on our website. And I just want to mention before the end here that we're very excited to find out that we received an $8,000 grant in collaboration with the city from the Victoria Foundation to help with our paid bookkeeper. We're just, as we're growing, we're finding we have to move out of total volunteerism and towards some paid staff. So that's all I got for you.
Thank you very much, Kathleen. That's a great presentation. I'll just open it up for questions from council. Any questions, council? Oh, Mr. Grove. Councillor Grove.
Thank you, Mayor. How old do I have to be a senior? So I'm very
You know, I don't know if they're going to check us at the door, but isn't that a fun concept? I really hope that that comes to pass.
It's not really a question. I just want to thank you for the growth that I've seen in this organization. And it's such a wonderful site. There's all kinds of exciting things growing. I can see and coming from it. So much more potential. So I really think that this year is a big step in the right direction, and we can look forward to a lot more coming. And the festival Eats and Beats is a big, or the
Lagoon Arts and
sorry, the
Culture
Arts Festival,
Festival.
Lagoon Arts Festival, is a nice partner to the Eats and Beats event, right? It's just more and more. We're supposed to be this world-class seaside community, and I think that this starts to show what we can do.
This year, it seems like a lot more cultural collaborations are coming our way as well. And that is super exciting for us. So, yeah, thanks. Yes.
Thanks a lot, Kathleen, again. Super job. Well done. Oh. Yep, we can do it this time. I'm just going to consent agenda. Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask that 7.3 be pulled for discussion.
I did.
Oh, already done.
Yeah, it's 8.5. I listened to you earlier today, Cynthia. Okay, at this point in time, we'll come to the consent agenda. We did remove 7.3, it is 8.5. Is there any other items that council wishes to remove? If not, can I get a motion, please? Thank you. Councillor Jensen, seconder, Councillor Olson. Discussion? Seeing none, call the question. Any opposed? Seeing none, we'll move on to section 8.0, new business. 8.1 is the intensive residential development permit official community plan amendment, project initiation. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Through the mayor to council. This is the intensive residential development permit official community plan amendment project initiation. The recommendation, council has already received this with the adoption of the agenda, so the motion isn't required per se. This is just a project initiation and giving council the background to how this project will start. And we're here to answer any questions that council may have. And Ms. Bosomworth will answer the questions.
Is there actually a presentation? No. Okay. Just open up questions for council. See, can I get a motion, please? Okay, thank you, Councillor Wilson and Councillor Grove. Discussion? Seeing none, I call the question. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Thank you. Move on to 8.2 is the RFP award, PWK 26013, Public Works Modular Office and Washroom Buildings. Over to you, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. The recommendation is that council award request for proposal 26013, Public Works Modular Office and Washroom Buildings to Lane 1 Homes in the amount of $678,290 for 2 structures providing operational and office space for the Public Works Yard.
Okay, thank you. So presentation. Okay, thank you. Questions? Okay, Councillor Jensen.
Thank you, Worship. I guess my only question is, how does this fit with our upcoming revamping of the Public Works complex as a whole, John? I mean, I hate to think we're building another lunchroom in another building a couple of years from now when we do move forward with the redesign of the entire complex.
Through the chair, thank you for the question. So the portables that you have before you tonight are a direct output of some of the space planning work we've done over the past several years. Ultimately, there is a more fulsome conversation about facilities that we need to have about this site and with council. This is an interim measure that will buy us several years and will provide adequate washroom functional space for staff. One of the key things that it addresses those immediate needs in terms of washrooms, that sort of thing that has come out of the space plan.
Thank you. I mean, that answers my question. You know, we can put this down the road a little bit as far as the overall redesign of the entire complex. I'm happy to move the recommendation, Your Worship. I'll yield to Councillor.
Okay, I'll circle back to you. Councillor Olson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick question. I recall when we were originally discussing this, is there a potential for us to recoup the cost on some of these modules? Can you just, in the event that we do, when and if we do move forward with the new public works facility, can this be resold, recouped, some of that cost?
Through the chair, thank you for the question. One of the benefits to this style of building is that it is modular. It can be repurposed, it can be sold, it can be moved. And so it gives us a lot of flexibility in the future. And that was one of the reasons when we looked at the business case of lease versus purchase, it made a lot more sense to purchase because at the end of that time, we still have an asset that we can do something with. And so there is a cost benefit to purchasing in this instance.
Thank you for that.
Councillor Grove.
Thank you, Mayor. This is great. This is two separate buildings, is it? Side by side. And what's the square footage roughly? I'm just kind of curious. If you're
Total square footage we've had two facilities is around 2,400 square feet.
Thank you. Yeah, that answers that for me. Thank you very much. And I know you need this space. We got a tour there 3 years ago.
The ladies need a change room. Councillor Jordison.
I just, thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to ask how long the modular units typically last. Like, I know the ones that you're in currently are quite old, but yeah.
Thank you for the question. So the life of a modular unit can be north of 20 years with the right care. You know, they can last for quite a while. The one that we're replacing, for example, is from the late 1970s. So they do have a decent life.
Thank you.
Councillor Day.
Thank you. I just wanted to say that I'm quite happy to support this, even though it seems like a lot of money if you just look at the outset for the cost being as much as some small apartments or good-sized townhouse, some places. But it really does have multiple purposes and a longer lifespan and addresses our immediate needs. So I am supportive of this award of contract.
Thank you very much. And I will circle back to you, Councillor Jensen, for your motion. Go ahead, Councillor Jensen.
I'll make the recommended motion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Seconder, please. Councillor Grove. Discussion, further discussion. Seeing none, I call the question. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll move on to 8.3. Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. This is the interim development permit moratorium pending official community plan amendment. The recommendation is that council place a moratorium on form and character development permit requirements for developments containing 4 units or less, including developments on lots less than 550 square meters, pending completion of the OCP amendment. Council has provided us direction to remove that from the official community plan. This would just put into place that moratorium while those bylaws are still progressing because they do require 4 readings of council. Council has heard from members of the community that are building homes, and currently the process is costly. And really what we're trying to achieve out of a form and character development permit for single family likely wouldn't be recognized, and it's just another layer of requirements that council has said that you no longer wish. So this puts us into action rather than waiting for the official community plan amendment.
Thank you. Questions? Councillor Jordison.
Thank you, Mayor. To staff, I wanted to ask how much time it normally takes to process a development permit and what amount of volume has there been lately?
Thank you very much. So development permits for these intensive residential developments, so typically a single family with a secondary suite, are more minor development permits. We typically require a 2-week referral process. So we look for issuance between 4 to 6 weeks for these types of development permits. We have mentioned that we are anticipating a large increase in volume in these types of development permit applications, given development occurring in beachlands for single families. The majority of those lots would require this development permit. So we're looking up to 150 applications. And so this is eliminating that requirement and reducing the amount of time and cost that staff have to spend on those applications.
Thank you, Mairi. Further to that, like for example, the Beachlands already has guidelines in place. So it should be pretty streamlined when it gets to you. So I guess I'm just trying to understand what problem we're trying to solve here.
Yeah, thank you. So the intensive residential development permit area within the OCP requires these form and character development permits for lots less than 550 meters squared. That is really in an effort to regulate small lot developments. The design guidelines that apply for this are typically around providing pedestrian access to secondary suites. There's some lighting and landscaping design guidelines. I would say there are quite limited design guidelines specific to single families. This development permit area also applies to our townhomes as well. And so there's quite a variation of housing forms that it applies for. In other areas in the city, we do not require this type of form and character development permit. And then on lots over 550 meters squared, we would also not require that form and character development permit. And so it is really for these small lots. I would say at the end of the day, regulating the form and character of single family homes is not best practice. We're seeking to streamline development approvals here, and which really is the ultimate goal of this.
So just further to that, if the moratorium is passed, what is the impact to the bottom line in terms of revenue, and what services does the city plan on cutting to make up for it? Thank you.
So development permits have a base fee, and then they have a fee based on gross floor area. So we would not be getting those development application fees, but we would also be removing the amount of staff time that is spent on these applications. This application is referred to every department, like a rezoning is as well. So I would say that is the trade-off. We're not getting those application fees, but we're also not spending the time on them either.
Councillor Jensen.
Thank you, Worship. So for the sake of clarity, this moratorium will help those 4 young people build their homes sooner. Is that right?
That's correct. They'll just proceed to building permit.
Thank you. It'd be a shame to think that we cost them any additional funds. It's already hard enough out there. Thank you, Worship.
Thank you. Councillor Day.
Thank you. I just wanted to check in on, this is also protections for neighbors that you don't get that really ugly, inconvenient secondary suite right next to you, inconveniencing you as well. So how are we managing communication to the community about what is happening?
Staff.
So these applications would proceed to building permit, which I believe is posted online when we receive building permit applications. There's no notice requirement for building permits, though.
I'm just thinking, I think we should keep our eye on the ball on these ones and take note, especially if there's any conflicts that arise within the community. You know, if we have people come in and tell us that they're unhappy with some development that's occurring next to them that's got a building permit but didn't have a forming character permit, for example, we're familiar with our big pre-approved development areas going forward with a particular plan. So this is opening a door to builders that may not know what we're expecting to see from them. So I just want to be sure that we keep our eye on it to make sure that everyone is protected, not just the new people building a new house, but also the person who just invested their life savings right next door. Thank you.
Just a clarification, Mairi. Did you not get direction from council to do this in the first place?
Correct.
Okay, so what are we arguing about then? It just seems silly. Anyways, okay, it's a moratorium, please. Thank you, I'm speaking. And so if you're asking for a moratorium, and the only other last question I have to make sure is this is a deviation from the OCP, right? And so are we okay legally? We can do this? I just want to make sure.
So the moratorium is in place in the interim while staff are undergoing the amendment to the OCP.
Yeah, so we can do this legally.
This is a policy decision of council.
Okay, thank you very much. That answers my question.
And if I can just clarify as well, council did pass a motion having a moratorium on development applications in the Tamarack area.
Yeah.
And that is something that we're processing to bring forward to council in August. So council has made these sorts of recommendations in the past and motions, not recommendations, motions. And this is similar to that policy.
Thank you very much. Councillor Jordison.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to make a statement before anything's taken out of context. Questions aren't arguments. So I think we are all just asking questions. No one's arguing anything. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no other, okay, need someone to make the motion. Okay, thank you very much. Councillor Jensen, motion, seconder. Councillor Olson, discussion. Call the question. All those in favor? None opposed? Any opposed? Oh, any opposed? Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries unanimous. Thank you. Okay. 8.4 is service review and budget 2027. Councillor Jordison, if you want to motivate, please. Thank you. It's your notice of motion from last council meeting. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Oh, yes, certainly, please. Could you put it up, please? Thank you. That's a good point. Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you. It's just that for staff to come back with the service review and budget development framework process at the August meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Motion made, seconder, please. Thank you, Councillor Day. Discussion. It's pretty self-explanatory. Thank you very much. And I'll call the question. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Thank you very much. We'll move on to 8.5, which was 7.3, which was the Transportation Safety Initiatives Program 2026 project priorities. And I just I pulled it from the consent agenda because I had a note from Councillor Ward, and he made a good point, very good point. And in defense of the ISC, when you guys were considering this, you we hadn't approved the dog park yet. So with that change now, the suggestion now has been, should the crosswalk, should the top 10, he is suggesting one of the priorities changes. We move the lighted crosswalk from Hatley crossing Metchosin to Kenny Court crossing Metchosin because of the trail now and the dog park. Sort of made sense to me, but And so it's a consideration now. I don't know if the best thing is to send it back to IC and go back and forth, or what the best idea for this is, but that's the issue that is brought up right now. Councillor Day, please. You're smarter than me on this one.
So I just wanted to make really clear, because it took me a while to wrap my head around it, but the Transportation Safety Initiatives Program, these are all projects that have been identified by residents through our website, coming forward to staff saying, hey, I think we really need a crosswalk here or a sidewalk there, or these are all programs that have been brought forward to staff from the community. And then they have taken all of those and run that through our matrix, if I understand it all correctly. It's sort of coming back to me now. And then come up with our top 10. We've identified a budget every year to try to work on things that the community asks us to work on, because we all have our things that we're trying to work on. We're transportation corridors and other initiatives, but this is specifically to say, hey, the community came forward and said, we need something here. And so we've identified it. But since that came forward to the committee, I've heard even from a couple of the committee members mentioning that, hey, doesn't it make more sense if it was further down because of the new dog park and people got to get across the road? It makes a lot more sense for the future park accesses and amenities that are going to be on the other side of the road as well. So I think it will be beneficial to all parts of the road. I think having a lighted crosswalk, having a definite opportunity to cross the road. Maybe next year we'll be back at the intersection that was already put forward by the committee. Really willing to move it forward with the right away if we're able to get working on it prior to our August meeting. But if we're waiting until after our next transportation committee meeting, perhaps it should be included on the agenda to give the community and our committee members an opportunity to weigh in. So I'm personally fine with either way, because I'm very aware of a long history of accidents, deer and other animals being hit on the roadway. The top of Metchosin Road Hill there is a really difficult area to manage, and it will slow traffic down coming into the rest of that area. But happy to take it back to committee or go straight to it here. I just wonder if staff could let us know, is it likely to be moving forward before the next opportunity to meet with the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, or maybe it's better to go there?
Thank you, Orsa. Through to Councillor Day. We're actively working on solutions for those 10 projects. We do have funded budget for those works. Absent a specific resolution this evening, then we were intending to spend funds as directed by the committee if you were to adopt the committee's recommendation, which is to move forward. So we would place that crosswalk on Hatley as opposed to Metchosin. Certainly, you have a funding allotment, I think, of in excess of 100,000. So you could add this project, and it might mean a different project in the top 10 gets dropped off. We could come back to the committee and relook at it. So we're open to suggestions, whichever way you'd like to proceed.
So what I'm taking from that is you're ready to go, but not ready right now. So I'm going to suggest that I think the right thing to do is to put the crosswalk where people are going to be exiting from the dog park right now, because we're doing something right there and it's going to be an activated area. And I could be wrong, and maybe we'll be coming back with another request for another lighted crosswalk at Hatley. But if council is amenable, I'd like to put that forward that we just move the planned crosswalk from Hadley to Kenning Court.
Thank you very much. Do I have a seconder, please? Okay, thank you, Councillor Jordison. Discussion. Oh, Councillor Grove, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I would just like to add, I have no objection to the crosswalk at the dog park trail connection to Beachlands. However, having raised two young boys on Grattan and seen many other children cross there to Sangster, that crossing, not even so much Hatley across Metchosin, but from Grattan across Hatley. If they're heading to Sangster, they're obviously small and young, and cars do come off that right turn at a high rate of speed. It's always frightened me, and was caught out more than once on my way walking to the bakery at 2:30 in the morning by cars, believe it or not, at that time of night, doing that slip lane turn, racing turn down there. So anyway, if that is a spot for just, it wouldn't, I don't think it would need to be lighted, but there's a consideration at least given. If this crosswalk is to be moved, that means there would continue to be nothing there. And I would just like to add, just from that personal experience, I think I saw a lot of it, and I don't think a really expensive solution needs to happen there. However, it would be perhaps even if it's down Hatley away from that, from Metchosin Road a little bit. So that would be a way to make me feel better about removing the Hatley crosswalk, but it makes sense to put it by the dog park.
Is that a crosswalk that's already identified too, though, in your matrix? I don't kind of recall it. It was such a long page and a half or so. So
I could perhaps find a resident to put a request in either to your list.
Go ahead, John.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just getting a flashback to a couple other meetings. It's mostly good memories. I believe this issue came up. We had a lady come forward and ask for this crosswalk at one of our public participation meetings. And again, I apologize. I don't dig into the details of a lot of these 80 projects until we kind of get near the end. And I think this particular crosswalk is just a painted crosswalk across Hadley at Grattan. So that's fairly cheap, and I think we can just do that. And then the Metchosin one to actually cross Metchosin, that one's probably going to be a bit of a bigger number to chew on. I don't think it's going to be problematic with regards to the $100,000 funding. We'll have plenty there to do that, and we'll look at the matrix. But I think we can actually do the Grattan crossing at Hadley and do the one at Kenning Court.
Thanks very much. Clear. Going to call the question. Not seeing any other discussion. All those in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Thank you very much. We'll move on to 9 point. Oh, no, we're finished now. We're at 9. Bylaws. Hey, Deputy Corporate Officer, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item 9.1, Colwood Land Use Bylaw is in front of council for first, second, and third reading. The motion that's there is that council give first, second, and third reading to Colwood Land Use Bylaw number 151, 1989, amendment number 227, SSMUH, bylaw number 2091, 2026. And staff, Kelsey and Mairi, the manager of planning, are here should you have any questions.
Okay, first, second, and third reading, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll look for someone to move, please. Thank you, Councillor Grove and Councillor Olson. Discussion? Seeing none, call the question. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Thank you very much. 9.2.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. 9.2 is back in front of council today. There are two motions for council's consideration. The first one is that council give Colwood Land Use Bylaw number 151, 1989, amendment number 220, CD 43, 3145 Metchosin Road, bylaw number 2054, 2025, third reading as amended. And if council passes that, then we can go on for adoption as amended.
Question?
And once again, council, staff is here, Kelsey is here, and Maria
Right.
are here for any questions.
Okay. Councillor Jordison, please.
I just wanted to, thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to say that the Metchosin corridor approach has not been decided or approved yet, and neither has the TMP been finalized. And I just think that today's zoning decisions could significantly increase the cost of any future road expansion. We need to ensure that land use decisions and transportation planning are aligned. And I just feel that approving buildings closer to the proposed right-of-way has potential to materially increase the future costs and complexity of the corridor improvements. And so I just can't support this development. There's also, I do have a question about the orphan properties in between the triangle that is created. It almost feels first that 3157 needs to be here for approval first prior to 3145 because of having to cross over. I'm wondering if the cul-de-sac could be removed off of 3157, I think it is, which would be able to push the buildings back further and not require that. But then there's the orphan properties that are in the middle there. If they're not able to access off Metchosin Road, eventually, how are they supposed to access? How are you supposed to get to those properties?
Mark?
Thank you. So the properties within the middle of the triangle are not impacted by this development. They still retain their access off of Metchosin Road. We are in active conversations with the applicants for 3157 Metchosin Road, so they will be coming to planning and land use potentially September, maybe October. So they are actively advancing that application. In terms of the timing of the applications, we just bring them forward when the applicants submit the complete application and we're done our internal process. So it just so happened that 3145 came first, but the zone is certainly enabling development for both of those properties, 3145 and 3157 Metchosin Road.
Furthermore, I just think that just pushing it back and taking a unit off now is going to save taxpayers money in the end, so that you're not tearing down a townhome and demolishing it after the fact because we need the roadway. But I'll leave it there. Thank you.
So it's if I understand when the question was answered in an email, if I do understand this, because we're talking two different things here. We're talking development permit and zoning right now, right? But they are related in a sense here, because if you know that the right of way is going to be 25 meters or 30 meters, shouldn't we just be taking the worst case scenario? And I think this is where it's unclear, because you have a bunch of drawings, right, which throw me right off, because if you look at it, and I read the email that came in on it, I went, well, the person's right. It looks like there's a half a meter setback, if we were to go 30 or 25 meters, I forget which one it was. And that's all I know. That's all I can see, right? And that's, so I was having a hard time with your explanation to understand that. Like, why wouldn't we, if, because the setbacks are a DP issue and the zoning is a zoning issue, but we have to go in there with our eyes wide open, I guess is what I'm trying to say right now. If we know that if the right of way is it 25 meters or 30 meters for the 4 lanes? 25 meters, I think.
We're currently at 25 meters.
Okay, so shouldn't we just take that into account to make sure that they're not encroaching? Like, we're not building a townhouse unit that's basically half a meter from the road. I guess that's all. I think that's the point that was trying to be made. Am I explaining this correctly? Thank you very much. Okay. So that, again, like I said, I thought that was kind of strange. Can you help me with that one, John?
Concerning the 25-meter road right of way,
yeah,
I believe the setback there currently is a 3-meter front yard setback, which is outside of the 25-meter right of way. So if you agree with the 25-meter right of way, it will be a 3-meter front yard setback.
Okay, right.
So it stays that way. If you go to 30 meters, if you decide you want to have a 30-meter right of way, as it currently sits, if you left everything the same, then you would have, you'd take 2.5 of the extra 5 meters on that side of the right of way, and then it would be within 0.5 meters. That's if you went to a 30-meter right of way in that area.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That does make sense then. Okay, Councillor Day, please.
Thank you. I'm very concerned about this property and the setback. And my reasoning is that when we look at our Metchosin Road cross section, I'm just looking at the handout that one of our committee members brought to council earlier today, it accounts for a lot of things: sidewalks, cycle lanes, travel lanes, turning lanes. Doesn't count for transit though. And we are building restrictions into our most restricted part of the Metchosin Road corridor when we approve a zoning with the buildings that close to our road right away. So I am very concerned. This is the part of the road that is going to have both the flow from further south in Colwood along the Metchosin corridor, also has all of the traffic flow from Wishart Road coming up into it, has also the traffic from any side roads that are able to connect to it, is likely to have more densification in the future, as we're seeing come forward here tonight. So I'm not comfortable with how close the actual buildings are to our road right of way, and that we don't have a plan for all of the things that we need in that road right of way. We've been trying to get there. I know it's a lot of work to get to the transportation master plan being really fully thought out and our corridor being understood, but even in the materials that were presented from our consultant earlier today, I can see things in that road right of way that I'm going to need to verify going forward. So I'm just really concerned that that's a very important route in Colwood for all of the development that is taking place, and I don't want us to be shortchanged. So as it stands, I haven't been presented with any sufficient information to say that this is not going to be a problem in the future. I think we're creating something that we're going to have to work around in the future. And that is not how I think we should be doing it.
Comment, staff? No.
Thank you, Your Worship. At this time, as referred to the consultant, we don't have a right of way. I mean, we know it's constrained and chosen from Latoria all the way to Suzuki. My concern is why do we go with that right of way? And I do know some of the councillors were on the tour that we took. Several homes in that area will be just as close to this right of way, or certainly uncomfortably close, so much so that their drivers will be unusable at a 30-meter right of way. So as the consultant said tonight, I think some of the issues with regards to a constrained right of way we can deal with. If you think about 5 lanes of traffic, for instance, left turn lanes and then 2 travel lanes, even at 3.5, that's 17.5 meters, leaving you 7.5 meters for a multi-use pathway, perhaps on one side, a sidewalk on the other, only a multi-use pathway. But if you're actually thinking about putting transit lanes in there, then that certainly wouldn't happen. So that would be a limiting factor. I mean, on Suzuki Road, we're taking 30 meters actively from all developers. And we're also trying to take 2 meters right of way to put the sidewalks outside of that right of way to perhaps have the potential to have transit lanes someday on Suzuki. So certainly at 25 meters, I would say that your constraint that would be tough to avoid, unless you stayed with your 2-lane configuration, would be you wouldn't have dedicated transit lanes. But the rest of it could probably develop through a constrained right-of-way scenario like we talked about with the consultant.
Sorry, sneaked up on me there, Your Worship. quite frankly, I mean, there's a lot of hair splitting here. I don't have the education that our staff have, and certainly the proponent has people working on his team. If there's a high degree of comfort on the part of our professional engineering staff, I see no reason to question this, and I'm happy to move the recommendation. Your worship, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll get a second, please. Thank you, Councillor Jordison. And so we got a motion on the floor. Councillor Day, please.
Okay. So I'll just say that the transit doesn't need to have a lane to need space. There currently are bus stops on that road. And we're talking about not taking the transportation corridor that we need because there's an existing home there that may be inconvenient. I would suppose that it's probably more likely that those homes that are close to the road won't be the same homes that are there in the future. Council hasn't batted an eye over a home built in, I believe, 2008 that's being torn down for new development in the Latoria Valley. But, you know, we're talking about a little rancher with a very short driveway, or, you know, there is going to be change. I'm just trying to make sure that what we put in place today doesn't have to be changed tomorrow. And I recognize that I may achieve areas where there's right of way and areas where there isn't sufficient right of way. We have got that in this quarter, but we have to at some point in time start planning for the future and for what we're actually going to see on that corridor. And if you want to have rapid transit to go to South Colwood, you're going to have to find a way to make a loop. And if you make that loop through Langford, nobody's going to take the bus because it's going to take too long.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if I could, there's just a motion on the floor currently to do third reading. I'm just going back to the minutes from the 29th, and Councillor Day put in a referral back to staff. So we didn't actually, council did not pass to rescind third reading because this is back as amended as a bylaw. So you just need to rescind third before you vote on third. I just wanted to interrupt just in case you got to voting on what's on the floor. Thank you.
Okay, can I get a second on the rescind? Thank you, Councillor Grove, please. So now, can you put the motion on the screen, please? Okay, and I'll go to Councillor Jordison, please.
Okay, so on the motion or just, sorry?
On the rescind.
Okay, I just, the OCP identifies Metchosin Road as an arterial road. It's intended to become a future frequent transit corridor. So we do need to have room for buses, and we certainly need to plan past 2045. And I guess my question is, amending the CD 43 zone setbacks also affects the applicants and their plans. However, the applicants are fully aware of the development permit guidelines affecting their properties. It should come as no surprise to the applicants if a change is made to make the setbacks consistent with the OCP development permit guidance. Is that not the OCP development permit guidance currently? To have the setbacks?
Thank you. So this before you this evening is a rezoning application. As part of a rezoning application, we assess the application against the land use designation. The land use designation within the OCP is the neighborhood designation, which enables development for townhomes up to 3 stories with a number of other policies associated with that. This is a rezoning application which allows us to develop regulations that fit the constraints of the site. And so as part of a rezoning application, yes, there are recommended setbacks within our design guidelines, which are a guideline at the time of development permit. We do not necessarily review those at the time of rezoning, because a rezoning application allows us to enable site-specific regulations. At the time of development permit or a development variance permit is when we may look at those recommended setbacks within the design guidelines. So this is not the time where we necessarily look at those recommendations, because this is a rezoning application.
Any other? Oh, Councillor Day.
Sorry, I'm not trying to be argumentative. I'm just trying to understand. So if you have a rezoning application, do you not consider what road right of way is required for the arterial road that services it?
So the development of this zone was always based on the premise of a 25-meter right-of-way. That 25-meter right-of-way is within the proposed zone. It does have a section Metchosin Road dedication. This particular applicant has already dedicated their road dedication because that was a requirement prior to adoption, which is what is being considered this evening. So we are already have retained that road dedication to enable a 25-meter right-of-way.
Okay, so the only motion we have on the floor is the very first one, correct? So let's proceed on that, and then I'll get motions for the rest. Is that recommended? Thank you very much. Any other discussion on the motion on the floor, which is the highlighted motion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? And opposed? Councillor Day, Councillor Jordison. Okay. And someone want that? Can we do the next two together? Okay, you can. Oh yeah, you have to adoption, right? So it should be separate, right? Okay. Okay, thank you. Did you get that? Jensen. Discussion. Okay. Oh, sorry about that, Councillor Day.
Thank you. So I'm just trying to figure out if we are moving this forward with accepting the 25-meter road right-of-way dedication for Metchosin Road. When will we consider whether or not that's sufficient? Like, I'm looking ahead thinking if this changes as we develop a plan for the roadway, and then we would then change our mind and perhaps decide that we're going to need 30 meters for this portion of Metchosin Road. How would that come forward?
Staff.
I would say that under that scenario, council has a right to list the width for the right of way. So for example, I can't remember if it was this council or previous council, your worship, I'm sorry. We made the decision to make Suk a 30-meter right of way.
That's correct.
That allowed staff from that day forward to ask developers to give us that kind of right of way. So moving forward, if council decides sometime in the future could be the next meeting, it could be 15 minutes from now. If you decide to go to 30 meters, then staff will act according to that. With regards to the decision tonight, if you decide on 25 meters, then moving forward, this particular property and many like it will be a negotiated outcome with regards to getting that land, unless they're developing. Once they develop, we'll take the land as part of that development. But until they develop, if we wanted to try to do that work, we would have to have a negotiated outcome. And I won't spell out the forms of that negotiated outcome, but we do have the tools to take the land as we need it, such as just buying the land outright. Or we could buy the property itself. And if we go to 30 meters, there will be instances where it would mostly make sense for the city to buy the entire property and then reutilize it in some form. Does that help?
So, Mr. Mayor, I'm just going to suggest that I think this one property is caught in the middle of a decision that I think is important for the city to come to terms with, and that is the portion of the road that, even according to the most recent information that we have, is going to need the most width.
Thank you. Mairi, you want to say something?
Yeah, thank you. Just to add, as part of the province's suite of housing legislation, another new bill is Bill 16, which allows municipalities to take road dedication at the time of building permit. And so this is a new allowance for local governments where we formerly were only allowed to take road dedication at the time of subdivision or rezoning. And so this is just giving us additional flexibility. So I just thought I would add that.
Boy, there's a lot of risk there. Councillor Jordison, wow.
Okay, this might be a silly question, but currently the last council dedicated the lanes to that area to 30 meters, right? Well, I read that they agreed that that would be 30 meters somewhere. There was a resolution. No?
Suk Road, I remember that.
Metchosin Road?
No, Suk Road.
My recollection, your worship, is that we did bring a study, Metchosin Road North, a few years ago for adoption. It's still in draft form. One of the choices in that study was to go to 30 meters, but that draft study was never adopted. I don't recall, I'm not suggesting you're wrong, Councillor Jordison, but I don't recall a mandate by council. When we were negotiating with these developers, our subdivision servicing bylaw had not been adopted at that time, and we didn't have 30 meters on Metchosin at that time as well.
Right.
Okay, thank you. I guess I just want to say, like, I'm not trying to be difficult here, but I don't want a home to be built that is going to be like right next to a roadway eventually. That's not quality home for anybody. It's not. And to wait to build stage and then tell the developer, oh, we're just going to take that roadway away from you. That's not fair either. So I'm just trying to get ahead of it now. I really think we're going to need the roadway, and we're not going to have it. And it's about money, and it's going to cost taxpayers more to get it back.
Any other discussion on the motion? Interesting, yeah. I will call the question then. I'll do it the opposite way. Those opposed? Well, okay. And those for. So you got everybody, everyone's opposed except for Councillor Jensen. Kind of figured it was going to go that way. So motion doesn't fails. Okay. In this sense, talking about the next one then.
Are you moving on to 9.3?
Sorry. Sure. Councillor Day.
I would like to refer this back to staff to try to work. I would like to salvage this if we can, if the developer is interested in working with us to achieve the road right of way and the setbacks necessary to make it a viable corridor. And I'd like to have staff bring back a recommendation to council for the corridor so that we can work towards a goal that we can all agree on.
Great, that's good. Thank you. Discussion? I like it. Councillor Grove.
Thank you, Mayor. I think I like that idea, this motion, and I believe I'll support it. But it seems to me in the dusty corners of my brain, there's something about someone said somewhere that this development, if they would build one less townhouse, there'd be lots of room. Like we'd be past this discussion. If that's true, that needs to be the way it goes, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Makes a lot of sense. I will call the question. All those in favor? That's unanimous. Thank you very much. Motion carries. Okay, we go on to 9.3, and at this time, I think someone wants to recuse himself. Councillor Grove.
I'm gonna leave the room because the 2120 is family. Thank you.
Item 9.3, the motion in front of council is that council give first, second, and third readings to Colwood Main Sewer Local Area Service Establishment and Loan Authorization Bylaw number 598, 2001, amendment number 185, LAS Enlargement 3110 Wishart Road, Bylaw number 2119, 2026, and Colwood Main Sewer Local Area Service Establishment and Loan Authorization Bylaw number 598, 2001, amendment number 186, LAS Enlargement 3155 Wood Park Drive, Bylaw number 2120, 2026, and Colwood Main Sewer Local Area Service Establishment and Loan Authorization Bylaw number 598, 2001, amendment number 187, LAS Enlargement 31112 or 3112 Wood Park Drive, Bylaw number 2121, 2026.
Thank you very much. Mover and seconder, please. Thank you, Jensen and Jordison. Questions, comments? Seeing none, any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. We'll call in Mr. Grove again. Okay, next one, 9.4, please.
9.4 is in front of council. The motion is that council adopt Colwood Main Sewer Local Area Service Establishment and Loan Authorization Bylaw number 598, 2001, amendment number 184, LAS Enlargement 3391 Fulton Road, Bylaw number 2114, 2026, and Colwood West Sewer Local Area Service Establishment and Loan Authorization Bylaw number 625, 2001, amendment number 99. LAS Enlargement 3391 Fulton Road, Bylaw number 2116, 2026.
Mover and seconder, please. Grove and Olson. Questions, comments? Seeing none, call the question. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Item 10 is notice of motion. Are there any notices? They won't show up until August 24th anyways. Okay, seeing none. At this point in time, I will, there be no further business. I will adjourn this meeting and we'll go back into camera.